So I was just at work the other day, as I usually am during the morning time during the weekdays, and my boss, uh, who everybody seems to be very intimidated by for some reason, but I'm not really that intimidated by him. But he had called me into his office, and it seemed like an opening to like a shitty porn or something like that. But so he calls me into his office, and he's just like, "What's up? Like, how's everything going? Like, how do you think you're doing and all that jazz and bullshit?" And just like good, I think because I've been there for a couple months. I'm like, yeah, I'm getting my footing, feeling comfortable, got everything down. I feel like everybody else that fucking works here is retarded, and I do everything right, and I'm the best, and I'm super cool. But and then he was just kind of just talking me up a little bit, just like, yeah, like we notice, pretty much that I'm doing a good job and shit like that. And he's like, and he like was kind of mentioning about some kind of like promotions or maybe moving me like to a different department or something like that. And somehow or another, the conversation it got to how I only work 4 days a week, which I know all my friends listening to this call me a pussy because they work like 75 hours a week. I deserve it. But he's like, yeah, so why do you only work like 4 days a week? It's like, well, I honestly want to say, like, it's fucking really not easy to just be fucking standing in one place getting bitched at for 8 hours a day by Jewish folk, the whole gamut of people, or just customer service in general, just having to talk to people for eight hours a day. And also the people I work with not really being folks that I want to spend the most amount of time with. But so yeah, I obviously cannot say this to my general manager and vice president of the whole company, which he is. So I just had to, maybe make up a little lie or something like that. So I was just like, yeah, I said to him about the customer service, just like, yeah, working in customer service for fucking 8 hours a day for, 5 days in a row seems a little bit excessive. Probably would make me want to blow the noggin off, and chuckle it off. And he's just like, so what do you do in your spare time? What exactly are you doing on your days off? Which is an easy question to answer when you're talking to your friends, maybe not even as much to your family, but your friends, parents. I would say, I like to get blackout drunk with my friends. I like to get so drunk I piss my bed occasionally. I like to go to bars with 60-year-old regular alcoholic drunks. But obviously, and like I said music, which is like easy to do because that's not really very offensive, but I definitely did not mention this here podcast, which I do spend a good deal of my time on when I'm not at work, editing or kind of like planning ideas for this here show. But I'm obviously not going to tell him about this because I don't want him to know that I'm talking about, killing babies or fucking hailing Hitler or anything like that. So I did not say that. So it kind of had me shaken. Well, and then obviously I don't want him, just the whole thing. I don't want anybody at my work to find this. It would just be awkward. Even though I'm already very jokey with everybody there, I'm still, zinging and zanging, but I just don't want them to listen to this at all. So it was just super awkward. So I felt like I kind of landed on my face there, belly up, when he asked me what I do on my day off. So I probably just looked like a fucking loser. But yeah, so he said some nice things to me and kind of insinuated or made me at least assume that they're looking to promote within, which is very, very kind of the man himself. But I just didn't want him to, because I don't know. That's why I just never even try to slip up and talk about it with anybody, even the people that I'm really cool with at work. I just don't want to mention it at all, just because we're a little datty, or just weird shit that like only my friends will think are funny. And then if you hear it out of context, you'll just think that I'm a fucking, I don't even know, baby. Like, but my sense of humor, I can, mold it to the folks at work. But we were talking about the other day at work, me, my general manager, and then the sales manager, about just Canada and all the bullshit, how you need to be fully vaccinated, have your like PCR test, 48 hours before, have a Fabergé egg, you gotta fucking go on the app that they have and plan your trip and all that bullshit. But I was like, yeah, my grandma lives up in Canada, and fucking she'll probably die by the time this whole thing is over. And that kind of got me a little fucking record scratch, and they all just looked at me and were just like, what the fuck? Why would you say that? And it was just super awkward, and I thought it was, I don't know if I thought that was funny necessarily, but it's just something that I would say. And that was a moment where it kind of caught me, or when you're just like thinking freely, when you talk with your friends and shit like that, but then sometimes you're talking around folks that you're not supposed to talk like a crazy person in front of, and then it becomes apparent when you do it. But yeah, so that's what fucking happened, and fucking, I don't know. I don't even know. But it would be nice to get like promoted within, but I mean, it's pretty obvious that when I don't want to work 5, 6, 7 days a week, it's obvious that I don't really enjoy being there too much, not to be rude or anything. But in other news, in very, very humbling, sad news, Tinder has taken away the free daily super like option, which is particularly heartbreaking because I was on a little OCD schedule where I would use their daily free super like. And I'm not really trying to fucking pay for the gold fucking silver nickel bullshit premium, Pornhub premium fucking version of Tinder because I'm poor and I don't really... Or I might actually buy some fucking... You can buy like 60 super likes or some bullshit. So I might just pull the trigger. Or I'm just gonna have to fucking go full hog on Grindr. Go full hog on the GR. But the thing with girls' bios on Tinder, they all are the same. All of them, they all have like future MILF or likes long walks to the bar. And most girls' anthem song on Tinder seems to be The Spins by Mac Miller. Super specific, kind of older... Well, it's definitely a popular song by him, but definitely an older popular song by Mac Miller. But when scrolling through Tinder as a straight feller, you're going to see The Spins a lot. But, I mean, I can't blame the gals. It's a fucking hell of a tune. Definitely a fucking head bopper. But speaking of fucking Mr. Mac Miller, Pittsburgh, bullshit, Pittsburgh Penguin, Mr. Miller. That place, even though I already talked about this on the fucking Pittsburgh fucked me episode, I don't know. It was one of the earlier episodes, probably in the early 10, 12, 13, maybe, with Justin and Matt. Yeah, Pittsburgh, it's kind of cool. It was, just reminds me of a lot of, got Buffalo vibes for sure, kind of Rust Belt, kind of early 1900s buildings, lots of brick, old shitty buildings, and fucking rusty bridges, rusty hooks to put in your ass. And yeah, it's just I don't know what Mr. Mac Miller was on, but it's not a great place by any stretch of the imagination, as Buffalo is not, and they're basically the same thing. And like I said in the fucking Pittsburgh episode, that Permanente Brothers bullshit, I don't even remember what the fuck I got. A very forgettable sandwich. It was, I believe it was some kind of chicken with like coleslaw sandwich. I don't know what the fuck I was thinking when I decided to get coleslaw on a fucking sandwich. I hate coleslaw. But it fucking, the sandwich tasted like gasoline, and it didn't even come with a side of fries or anything. And no plate either. They don't serve you with plates in Pittsburgh. They just make you eat like a dog off of the floor. And, yeah, it's just, me, Justin, Matt, we were walking around the city during that trip, and it was weird, just really desolate, kind of quiet, spooky vibes, even though it was like the middle of the summer weekend, probably around 10, 11 in the morning, just a super dead downtown, if you could even call it like a downtown area. It's just a few buildings, just kind of like Buffalo's downtown, just meager, very chill. But then we went to some goddamn place, I think for breakfast, like when we were heading out, fucking I was pretty much blackout drunk, had because at the end of every trip there's always like those last couple straggler beers in the cooler. And well, obviously, for like a caveat, if alcoholics, we bring full on coolers with us to hotel rooms to just house the bottle. But there's always, a few extras in the morning on the day of departure. And of course, Justin doesn't drink, so then they gave me and Matt fucking full hog. So I think I had like 3 or 4 maybe before we left the hotel room at fucking 10. And then we were walking around it was kind of like an Elmwood Village-esque area in Buffalo kind of vibe, kind of like, and that section of Pittsburgh was alive, I'll give them that for sure. It's kind of like lots of like gypsies, it's like a shitty little Chinatown in the outskirts of Pittsburgh, like right before like a hillside or something. But it was pretty cool, kind of like bohemian, lots of people selling hats with like I Heart New York on them for some reason, even though we're in the middle of Pennsylvania. And we went to this place. It's called like Everybody Loves Raymond, Everybody Loves Gaymond, or some bullshit like that. Everybody Loves Gay People. I think that was the name of the breakfast restaurant. It was like a 2-story joint. And it's one of those, it was kind of weird. They had you like line up when you entered, and you would order at like a desk at the fucking counter, and then they would seat you with your and then ask you for your coffee and things like that, and then it would come, which I guess kind of beats, waiting at your table for your fucking waitresses. But all the waitresses there, very hot, very nice, very hot, very nice, very, I had some kind of weird brisket bowl that was pretty good. It had like barbecue sauce and like shit and fucking hash browns and fucking semen and the whole 9 yards inside of it. It was just great. And then we and then we stopped at this bar to get Matt's dad likes to get like local 6 packs of beer, and I like to get 6 packs of beer anytime I already have a buzz and am on the fringe of blacking out. So I was into that idea. So then me and Matt found this place who sold local six. It was like a bar, but then they had a little cooler with like 6 packs to go, I guess, for all the people who like to drink and drive. But got a 6 pack of Iron City. That's like their local bullshit. Kind of tastes like Miller Lite, but I mean, it was decent. So I pretty much drank all those on the ride home. And by the time we got back home from Pittsburgh to Niagara Falls, it's probably about 3 p.m. and I fucking had work in the morning, Monday morning. Fucking got home just basically blackout drunk. But besides the point, every girl on Tinder, their anthem is "The Spins" by Mac Miller, and he was just gassing it a wee bit at the old Berg. Same with Mr. Wiz Khalifa, huge early 2010s hit, Mr. Black and Yellow. What else do we got here? Fucking Pittsburgh, let's see here. What do we got? Oh yeah, fucking there's this local bar in Niagara Falls. It's called Foley's. That was a place that I referenced where hanging out with 60-year-old alcoholics who fucking beat their wives and shit like that. But it's a big den for, just loner alcoholics in Niagara Falls. So on the street, Buff Ave, the main strip, the big three, as they refer to it, the Mount Rushmore of being an alcoholic on Buffalo Avenue. It goes from left to right, 87 Buff, Foley's, and then your Wilbur's, Wilbur the Pig, and so we were at Foley's the other night. I'll probably speak about this specific night with Christian probably on one of the next one or two podcasts. I'm not sure when I'm going to have his dumb ass on. He said he was feeling a little sick yesterday, so we'll see what the... Jesus, I might have Delta variant myself, or herpes. I'm going to bark up his tree tomorrow, see what the fuck he's doing. Maybe we'll do a podcast. But at Foley's, I had like a graduation party, halfway bullshit, just around this time, pretty much, about a year ago, when it was still like frowned upon to have like social gatherings and all this bullshit. But these fucking assholes who run this establishment, they let us have a party, which was very cool of them to do, especially when you weren't supposed to see your friends or things like that. Except me and my pals had been hanging out, blacking out since probably April, or now probably May or June. We just kicked the habit. But these fellers at Foley's, they let us have my graduation party. And I believe both the folks who own this joint, both of them are gay, but I don't think they do gay sex with each other. I think they just do it separately with other fellas they meet. And they're both great dudes. And I know the one dude's name. And, well, first of all, we had this half-ass graduation party, and fucking, it was cool. I think it was the Bills opener from last year. I don't remember what the fuck happened, but we had like an open bar, which was great, and the Bills game was on, which was great, and had my family come to the party, which wasn't that great, but we do what we can with what we have. And so me, my friends, and open bars, we get along well for an hour or two, and then it just gets a little ugly. But so the day started off fine. I don't think I ate that much that day. I don't know why that just sprung in my head, but I feel like I didn't really eat that much. And so obviously there's a fucking open bar, and anytime I want to fucking cold fucking anything, cold Miller Lite, cold fucking you name it in my fucking hand. I got it, so fucking obviously just abusing that power. And I ended up just in full, just incapacitated mode, incapacitated chode mode, and just very, very drunk at a quite early hour, probably 6 or 7. The sun was still shining, baby. And I remember just sitting on a chair and then just sitting there, probably having sunglasses on and just slouching heavily in this chair. And I remember sitting there holding my beer, and then my hands just could not work anymore. They could not hold the beer. So I remember specifically like just dropping the beer and just on the ground. And then I think Christian or somebody's be like, oh shit, we got to get him the fuck out of here. And I don't know how I remember that, but I had a thought, and it escapes me as I say it. But yeah, I got so drunk I couldn't hold my beer anymore, which is a good indicator that I should not be drinking any more beer. And and I ended up getting taken home. I think my mom wanted to drive me home, but she was fucking drunk as fuck as well. So I think Matt drove me home, and it was nice because the day after I think Christian called me up. He said he was blackout drunk as well there, which kind of cushions the blow when you're not the only alcoholic on the premise. And I spoke to, I guess this logic only works with like alcohol abusers, but anyways, I talked to my uncle a couple days after, and he was saying that all my aunts who were at the party, they were like throwing up and fucking blackout drunk too. So that just, it really helped it helps when you don't have to cry alone about some bullshit that you did when you're drunk. And this could be a perfect segue to a story that is just quite the embarrassing little story, but I'll spare the names, and so then I don't get disowned, I guess. But we were at Matt's house, I believe, just zinging and zanging. I think it was a nice summer day. It was still pretty hot outside when the weather was still nice, and just playing cornhole, chilling in the sun. And I do this thing when I'm drunk, which is actually, I think, the smartest thing that I've ever done and ever will do when I'm drunk. I say to myself, hey, self, you're pretty drunk right now. You sound like you need to go home. So then I pick up my cellular phone and I say, hello, mother, can I come home? And luckily, on this specific day, I was just a couple blocks away, so that was very easy. I remember it being still very much light outside, and I think I had probably a morning beer that day at like 8 a.m., probably running a little bit late, and then we ended up making a stop at Consumers Beverages, and I think I got a 12-pack of Bud Light Lime in the bottles. And like I said, we were at Mr. Matt's house, just throwing some bags back and forth, cornholing each other, throwing bags in our cornholes, and got that old drunk feeling. Said to myself, hey, self, you should skedaddle. And I did. I got picked up, and my mother picks me up, as she does, and says, hey, do you want to go to so-and-so's house? Family member so-and-so's house. I said, my drunk as fuck self, you kidding me? They're having a party? Let's fucking go, baby. Let's fucking go. I'd love to go. Sober me would have said, no. I would have said no if I was sober just because I wouldn't have wanted to go. And if I could objectively look out of my body in third person and saw myself on that specific day, I would have said definitely do not bring this fella to any function or person's house of importance. So I ended up going to this relative's house. And we were having a good time, shooting the shit. Completely blackout drunk at this point. I remember having a couple pops at this establishment. And then I ended up, I was just doing some off-color jokes, all that jazzing, joking, being drunk, and smoking cigarettes with my mom. And I ended up making a joke to my one family member about him being a homosexual, which he is not, respectfully. But obviously I was just a little drunk, so I was just being silly, just poking at him, just being a silly guy. And he, being an elderly Italian man surrounded by his friends and family, did not take very kindly to to this joke, which is understandable now as I can realize my falter. And he kicked me out of his house. So then I was blackout drunk, kicked out of a family member's house, which was quite embarrassing of me to do. But the good thing about family is they're not your friends, and you see your friends all the time, and you usually only have to see your families, at least in my situation where we don't talk to each other or speak to each other or say we love each other. We just see them on holidays for a couple hours. So that's at least very nice. And it's a lot easier when if you do something stupid around your friends or embarrassing because you see them so much, so it gets worn off with the repetition. It's like a fucking, I don't even know what the fuck it is, but it's something. And but it's just awkward with family members because at least in my situation, it's probably not healthy, but we don't see each other quite often. So then it just kind of lingers without the repetition of seeing someone. So then this is actually a good point here that I feel like I struck a match on my ass here. But like I was saying, it's just quite awkward. But I had seen, then I ended up texting this family member and, just apologizing. I was definitely sincerely very embarrassed of myself and just pissed off. I think I came home and fucking so drunk I definitely blacked out, didn't remember going to bed. I wish my mother would have put the cane around my neck and yanked me off the stage when we had just left the first establishment I was at with my pals. But nonetheless, it still happened. And I was, just embarrassed. I had to call him the day after, do the whole song and dance, just fucking so sorry, I fucking love you. I still love him. He's a great fella, that family member of mine. And, I think like I said, I pissed the bed after that very night that I did that very embarrassing thing. So that was, I guess a little payback there. Woke up in a nice a puddle of piss in my jean shorts. And, had to make those hard calls. But, got through it. And then I saw him maybe a couple weeks after, patched it over a wee bit, and then really haven't seen him since, but thus proving my point that you see your friends more often, which is convenient. And I completely lost track or just completely skipped over the point that I wanted to make about this person who works at the Foley's bar. because they like hooked it up with my fucking party, like I was saying, my graduation party. They put it up, or they, gave us the open bar, all that bullshit, and were very nice to us. They didn't let us play beer pong, though, which was stupid, because we were just playing with water. And I just don't know why they wouldn't let us play beer pong, but granted, it was August 2020, so September 2020. Yeah, September 2020. So there was still some residue effects, but yeah, so they were both very cool. These two gay fellas at the bar that own it, and suck each other off. But yeah, it's a hell of a sight to watch. But we go into the bar. We frequent, we're alcoholics, so we go into this bar, and they're always very appreciative when someone under fucking 65 walks through the door with fucking more than 10 of their teeth and without track marks on their veins from fucking heroin needles. But yeah, just always very nice. And I didn't know this one fucking guy's name, and I didn't know his name, and he knew my name, which always is the worst feeling for me specifically. I just hate that. I hate when you know my name and I don't know yours. It makes me feel bad, or at least to a person that I've already known. Like I should know your name, but I don't, just because I'm a fucking retard. But yeah, he was a great guy, but then I ended up asking one of the drunk fucking retards at the bar with fucking with needles sticking out of his arm what the bartender's name was, and his name's Shane. Good dude Shane at the bar. And he was talking me up, as he does, we're talking about Grindr, fucking gazebos, all the bullshit. And he's got all my friends fired up because we don't fucking get the early bird special or have the senior discount. And they're like fucking asking me to do a shot. Come on, do a shot. And I didn't really want to. I'm not one for doing shots. I like to just drink the beer because that already gets me blackout fucking drunk and makes me piss my pants. But these fucking assholes, they always want me to do shots, and I never want to do shots. But I said yes, and I had ordered a beer, and I figured the bartender was already pestering me enough to the point it had already poured it to where I figured that it would be free, because I already made it pretty clear that I don't want to do this. So you're basically you're raping me into this shot, and I don't want to do this. And I figured he would not, I shouldn't be paying for this because I don't want to do it. But he still charged me for it, and I was like, what the fuck? But I think he only charged me $1 for it. But that is whatever. And there was also some other happenings at the bar this night, but I'm going to save that for the podcast that I do with Christian next.